One of the things that frustrates me is when people say living a nomad capitalist lifestyle means you're giving up on your family. You can't have a family, or you won't have a strong family life. And I think, quite frankly, nothing could be further from the truth. And so what I want to talk about today is how you can keep your family, keep your friends, and enjoy the benefits of a nomad capitalist life with more freedom, lower taxes, and more opportunities. I am Andrew Henderson. Here at Nomad Capitalist, I've spent over a dozen years curating a global network of experts, building a team of over 30 people, all to help 7- and 8-figure entrepreneurs legally go where you're treated best. You can learn more at nomadcapitalist.com. Today I want to discuss what I hear from time to time about how being a nomad capitalist means you can't have a family. You can't talk to your family, you're leaving them behind. People even say that it is soulless in some cases. Somebody had told me, you only talk about money. Why is it you only care about money? Others have said that we talk about places in terms of their consumer conveniences or weather or low taxes, but where does family fit in? And I think that for me, the family part was already baked in. It was already assumed. Now, what's interesting is in the last year, we've seen just how crazy the world can be. We've seen just why you need an insurance policy. And we've seen just why the government that you're paying so much money in taxes to isn't using your money effectively to serve you and to help you. And so, when you talk about family, look at the last year. Look at people who are from New York. Look at people who are from California, from Spain, from many places in the Western world, high tax, crazy, big government places, that have basically ripped family members out of each other's arms. You've been talking to each other on an iPad. People are dead. People are dying. There's been a lot of problems. And it's been very sad watching how some of these countries have treated people. This is what you pay a boatload of money in taxes and what you give up your freedoms for, is so that when times get tough, they're not on your side. A lot of people have wished they would have had a lot more time with their family recently. But that aside, when it comes to living the nomad capitalist lifestyle, I have a small family. I'm married. My wife and I, we travel together. We live this lifestyle together. If we were to have kids, the kids go with us. So you have your immediate family, and I don't think I've ever, very, very rarely perhaps, had a family, maybe once or twice, where the husband says, I'm going to be a nomad capitalist on my own, you guys stay at home. We go together. And so there's a different way of creating a plan from a strategic and from a human element for a single person than there is from a married couple, than there is from someone who has a family with children, so there is someone who's retired, an empty nester. And so your immediate family is going to go together, and you can do this. And I've seen the children, by the way, who live this lifestyle. They enjoy it. They meet friends all around the world. They learn stuff. They have a great advantage, I think, ahead of other people. Now, if you want to talk about more extended family, then it is true that it may be more difficult to convince your parents or your parents-in-law, depending on where you're from. If you're from the Western world, I know a lot of people, they tell me, my parents don't understand what I'm doing, but I'm doing the right thing for me. And, if I talk to people in my family, parents, extended family, whatever, I think most people would not understand why did Andrew leave the United States, let alone why did he renounce his U.S. citizenship. I'm sure some of them wish that I hadn't done some of those things. They have different opinions, but you know what I've thought my entire life, and I got the best permission slip when I was a kid, when my father said, you need to go where you're treated best. You do not have to stay in one country, let alone the same state, the same city, just because your parents are here. We want you to do what's best for you. And I think that my parents, and my father in particular, really did me a great service because they took away the piece of family. Dave Ramsey, financial commentator, says, he'll talk to someone, he'll say, your mom or your father, your parents, they are travel agents for guilt trips. They put the guilt on and they don't want you to do what's best for you because you need to stay here. What are we going to do for Junior's birthday? How is this going to work? How is that going to work? Largely, I think, in our world, very small-minded ideas, as I'll explain in a moment. But my parents said, listen, you should do what's best for you, whether that's social opportunities. I know a lot of people who are staying in one place, in the U.S., for example, for their families. They're not meeting the men or the women that they want to meet. They don't have the friends that they want to have. They feel like they're not part of it. They're paying a lot of money in taxes. They're frittering away millions of dollars over the course of their lifetime. They don't have the freedoms they want. They're living with dwindling freedoms, and they justify all of that. They would love to improve on all those things, but they justify it because, well, my parents are here. I believe that having more money, having more options means you're better able to help your family out. I'm doing things for people in my family that I wouldn't have been as likely to do, had I stayed in the United States. Financial and just opening up their minds largely, and just dragging them along to different places with me. I have people in my family who I'm inviting to come and visit with me and get better medical care where I live. So I'm doing things, by having this global exposure. I think I'm helping people in my family out. I'm encouraging people in my family who have claimed a dual citizenship to go out and get that and get their options. And so, having more money, having more options, to me is the real freedom. Right? Because again, how many people don't have the freedom to see their families right now? And how many people just in any environment don't see their families that often? Now, I will admit, coming from a family where my parents gave me that permission slip, we did not have a huge extended family. We did not get together with 25 people. I remember one Christmas I had my family that lived in Arizona come over to my house. I think there were like 6 of us. And I had a friend, and he said, "Do you mind if I bring my aunt?" He's a Mexican American. And the aunt called someone else, and she called someone else. We had like the best Mexican Christmas. We had 30 people there. My family was 6, and he had like 24 people. I never had that. It was a lot of fun. We never had that. It wasn't how we grew up. And so it's easier for me because we didn't have such a big family. But I'll tell you what, my parents, fortunately enough, they can afford to fly and come and see me, and they have. And so I don't come from a family where I'd hang out at my parents' house every day. And so we see each other not that much less than we would have if I would have lived, 50 miles, 50 kilometers away. They come to see me. I've had friends come to see me. I had a great friend of mine fly from Chicago to Hong Kong nonstop. We had a great birthday party a couple years ago. I've had my parents come for Christmas, for birthdays, for holidays. And certainly, if you really want to be with your parents full time or other people, you can bring them with you, right? A lot of golden visa programs, residence programs, citizenship programs allow you to add your parents. Some require they be financially dependent on you. Others, at a certain age, doesn't matter. And so I've had people who have come to me and said, "Let me get my parents' citizenship too." Or I've had people say, "You know what? My dad, he's 78, he's coming with us. Add him to the residence application." And we've done that. And so I think that, why can't they come with you? Why can't you have kids and have them come with you? Why can't these people come with you? And even the people who don't come with you, I'll tell you, I have friends in the U.S. I have a great friend, the guy who came from Chicago. He and I, we didn't live in the same place. We lived, 2,000 kilometers away from each other when I was in the U.S. We would talk on the phone however often. Now we talk on the phone about the same amount of however often. Except rather than being 2,000 kilometers, maybe I'm 10,000 kilometers away. And is there really a difference? We would meet up a couple times every year. Now we meet up once or twice every year. And so I'm not going to tell you that there's absolutely no change. You may see people a little bit less. And if you're that way, we had one gentleman, he came to us, and we went through the whole process. And ultimately, the clarity he got from our process was, I want to see my grandmother every week, and she's too old to travel. She's in her 90s. She can't go anywhere. And so I'm going to stay here. And if you prioritize that above all the other benefits, I'm not here to disrespect that. I believe everyone should make their own choice. What I believe is a lot of people are giving up on their goals, giving up on their dreams, giving up on their future, whether it's financial, whether it's social, whatever it may be, because of this idea of family. And then when they actually look at it, they get together 6 times a year. Or when they actually look at it, them and their mother are so close, their mother would follow them anywhere. Right? I mean, my parents have talked about, where would you like to go? And I've kind of confused them because, here I'm not, I'm going all these different places. And they're like, where should we come? One day we're going to just come and we're going to hang out with you guys for a year at a time. And we don't know where that place is. But I think that the other thing is, even if your family's not going to join you immediately, what I've seen is the more I do this, the more I show that it's possible, and the more that I eat my own dog food, as it were, people in my family and friends of mine have been open to where they wouldn't have come to Mexico City years ago, but now they've seen me go there so many times, and they've heard me talk about it, and that you can go there and it can be safe, that they said, okay, we've heard all the bad stuff about Mexico City, but we trust that you wouldn't have gone there 8 times if it wasn't okay. So we're going to come down and hang out with you. And so, those are all the things that I think about when it comes to family. I don't presume to know your family. I do know, again, talking to a lot of folks, that they're letting their family tell them what to do, even though it goes against their own interests and their own wishes. And I do believe in standing up and being your own person, and I'm glad that I was allowed to do that. And I would encourage anyone to be confident enough to do that if you're not already, and tell your family, I make my decisions. I come first, and I want to help you, and I want to support you, and I want to love you, but I have to put myself first. Not enough people do that, and whatever your family life is, I think you can keep it going. And I think you'll also see who's important. I had a friend from my high school, and I met up with her and her husband a couple years ago in Asia. She'd lived in several different cities around the world. And they were telling me, they said, we've been doing this for about a dozen years or 10 years. And they said, I think either no one or one person who had said, I'm going to come and visit you, actually did. And you realize just how important it is. If you have friends or you have family who have a couple bucks and they can buy a plane ticket, and for 10 years they don't do it, maybe that says that the friendship wasn't as strong as it was, or maybe that says that the family, maybe more of a distance is appropriate. I think evaluating relationships is always more important, especially if you are a nomad capitalist who is increasingly successful. I see a lot of people who become wealthy if their family and friends aren't wealthy. There becomes a great divide where there becomes jealousy and negativity, and maybe best to be away from that. And so those are all my thoughts on family. You can keep whatever relationships you have. Maybe you'll expose some of the ones that you shouldn't have, but you can keep whatever relationships you have to some extent, if not the entire extent. You can just determine what that is. It's not my place to judge what your relationships with your family are, but certainly your immediate family can come with you. You can thrive being married, having kids. I see people doing it all the time. You can, deal with family and friends on an extended basis, or they can come with you. They can meet up with you. You can keep whatever you have with the family. It's up for you to decide what that's going to look like, but it is possible. How can Nomad Capitalist help you? 4 ways. Number 1, subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell to make sure you get our new video every day. Number 2, get a copy of Nomad Capitalist, the book. You'll learn a lot of my personal experiences over a dozen years of studying this stuff, as well as exactly some of the strategies that you can use to build your Nomad Capitalist plan. Number 3, if you're not sure where to start, but you want to come and learn from my team and I, you want to come and mingle with like-minded people, learn more about our live conference, Nomad Capitalist Live. It's coming up soon. And number 4, if you want some help right now because you've got a burning issue, you need something solved, you want to lower your taxes, get a second passport, or build the Nomad Capitalist lifestyle of your dreams, go to nomadcapitalist.com and click on Become a Client.